were born to stand out. In the previous scenarios, we have reviewed different aspects of navigating harassment. We've used the resilience mindset and the reporting framework. We've learned how to use a witness, and we have learned that it's so important to speak up, even for the smallest, subtlest forms of microaggressions, because those can be dangerous to our mental and physical health. Throughout all this content, I hope you're starting to see the common theme that we're trying to protect our health. Mental health is so important, not just to do your best work or to be your most productive self, but also just for your own well-being and your happiness. You deserve to feel joy and happiness. This scenario discusses a time I experienced harassment during an internship. I stood out, and this caused people to take notice of me, and I became a victim of harassment. I want to emphasize that standing out is not a bad thing. It should be embraced and leveraged to your advantage. Learning how to navigate harassment when you stand out is essential for you to be able to leverage it for your advantage. Scenario 6. You were born to stand out. When I was a graduate student intern working at a large aerospace company, I was in a male-dominant environment. I was not only one of a few women in the workplace, but I was also one of the youngest, except for a couple of high school interns. I stood out. As an undergraduate and in my early years of graduate school, I felt like I stood out because I didn't look like my colleagues. I could feel that people didn't respect me, and I often faced harassment in different forms. This harassment and the way people treated me without respect caused me to feel like I didn't belong in my field. And this caused me to start trying to dress like my male colleagues so that I'd fit in. I would wear collared shirts and khakis or blue jeans, for instance. I never liked this look on me. It felt very uncomfortable, and it felt like it stifled me, and it wasn't flattering for me. And so I didn't feel very confident when I wore this uniform. It was not my personal style at all. Now, at this internship, I would usually wear my uniform to try to fit in, but every now and then I tried to push the boundaries and show just a little bit of my feminine side. One day I wore this bright red lipstick along with the collar shirt and blue jeans, and I felt so fabulous. First thing when I arrived at work, I went to go ask one of my mentors for the tasks I had for that day. When I walked up to his desk and asked for my tasks for the day, he looked at me with a little bit of confusion and said, "You look good today." I asked him again what my work was, ignoring his stammered response. And he went on to tell me my tasks. But after he told me, I felt so uncomfortable to his reaction of me wearing lipstick that I went straight to the bathroom and washed it off. I don't think I wore lipstick to work for at least a few years after that. While it's not necessarily a bad thing that he commented on my looks, it's just that he wasn't the only one. There was another coworker of mine at the same internship who, as I was working late on a Friday night finishing up some failure analysis, commented to me, "What's a pretty girl like you doing in here on a Friday night?" I felt like he was alluding that I should be on a date or something. While I didn't report this harassment in this internship at the moment, at the end of the summer when I met with my manager, I told her that if I were to grade this workplace on how welcoming it felt to me as a young woman, I would give it a C. She was pretty shocked and disappointed to hear that. She said she would address the issue by talking to the men who harassed me and made me feel uncomfortable. I really commend her on addressing it. I probably should have spoken up earlier in the summer, but I didn't have the confidence to at the time. In instances like this internship, where I completely stood out, I felt like no matter how much I would change what I wore to try to fit in, I would still get this disrespect and unwanted attention and just harassment. My uniform of a collared shirt and khaki pants didn't seem to stop them from harassing me. Now, when I dressed this certain way, I wanted to solicit a certain reaction from them. And let me talk a little bit about that. Our society is very accustomed to telling women what they should do and how they should do it. And this is very appearance driven. People make assumptions about you based on your appearance, your socioeconomic status, your skills, your personality, your preferences, your aptitude. The list goes on. I'm sure everyone knows this to an extent, which is why people dress certain ways to solicit certain responses from others. Lady Gaga's eccentric outfits helped her rise to fame, while in a business setting, people wear business professional suits to demand respect or look like they've reached success. While how someone dresses can definitely affect how people treat you, it doesn't mean that you can control people through how you dress. My approach to try to blend into my workspace and not be harassed by dressing like the uniform of what I thought an engineer wore did not work to control people. I was harassed no matter what I wore. I was going against the wisdom of truth 3 of the resilience mindset. I was trying to control others through what I was wearing. Minorities in the workplace definitely stand out, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I believe it can be leveraged to your advantage. The good news is that when you accomplish something great, because you stand out, people notice, and you can get credit for that. The bad news is that people tend to notice everything you do and tie that to their preconceived assumptions. There's something odd I've noticed when I, a woman, embrace my femininity in my male dominant workplaces. People almost have to say something. They won't let it go. They have to comment on my appearance. This is not my fault. Nothing I do will change this. I can't control other people's reactions to me. While these comments have and still do make me uncomfortable, I found it's not worth it to sacrifice my own authenticity to make someone else feel comfortable. I need to dress true to myself. It took me about 10 years of alternating between this uniform of polo shirts and khaki pants and jeans and then to business casual wear to realize that no matter what I wear, I can't control how others treat me. Wearing what makes me feel happy and confident is what helps me do my best work. My employer should want me to wear what I want to wear because it will lead to my best work results. And if someone chooses to harass me, that is outside of my control, and I will report it. So please, go ahead and wear what you want, as long as it makes you feel confident and happy and joyous and empowered and like yourself. Wear it because you want to, and learn to embrace the fact that you will stand out and shine. I took this kind of literally by literally shining right now wearing this sequin dress just to show you that it really doesn't matter what you wear. Like, people will make a comment no matter what. You just gotta embrace who you are and wear what you want so that you can do your best work. It's not like I'm gonna wear a sequin dress to lab because it's not really PPE. Like, if I spill chemicals, it could be really bad. But right now, in this moment, when I'm telling you to stand out, I want to stand out. I want to embrace my feminine side. I want to wear my scientist necklace. At the end of the day, wearing what you want is self-care. It's important to follow your joy for your health. How others react to your choices is their decision and not in your control. A harasser will harass you no matter what you do, so you might as well do what makes you happy. Receiving many comments on your appearance in your workplace can be incredibly annoying, especially when it seems like your coworkers talk to you more about how you look than your actual work. When people would make these comments about my appearance in the workplace, it made me feel unvalued and unappreciated. But as I've gotten older and as my confidence has grown in myself and my work, I no longer feel these comments affect me to that extent anymore. I no longer feel like if someone comments my appearance in this male dominant work environment, that they only value me as a woman and not as a senior scientist. I know that I can be brainy and beautiful at the same time, and I'm confident in both. If comments about your appearance make you feel uncomfortable in your work environment, that is definitely a reason to speak up and advocate for yourself and start using the resilience mindset and the reporting framework if you need to address the situation so that you feel safe and comfortable once more. When you feel uncomfortable because of something someone said, you should definitely confront them and tell them that what they said made you feel uncomfortable. If you don't feel safe or comfortable going to this person directly, definitely still reach out for help, either from a manager or human resources or whoever you would report harassment to. Scenarios 1 and 2 discuss navigating situations like these more in depth. Don't do what I did in my internship and wait, or wait for the situation to escalate and then act. And remember to document everything around these instances that make you feel uncomfortable. Trust your instinct that your discomfort can be a big issue that can negatively affect not only your work, but also your health. It is in your and your employer's best interest that you address the issue because you can't do your best work unless you feel comfortable and safe at work. Also, something to consider is picking your battles when it comes to navigating harassment and self-care. There have definitely been times in my career when I was harassed with more lethal forms of harassment, in addition to these unwanted comments that I receive, while both were happening simultaneously. In order to care for myself in the best way possible, I may just want to focus on dealing with the more lethal harassment and not really bother with dealing with the unwanted comments. Your self-care is most important, so tackle what'll lead to the biggest improvement in your workplace environment. Follow your own needs, be mindful of your energy, and trust your intuition throughout the process. Let me end with this, the freeing part of this scenario. Please, please, please wear what makes you happy in your workplace or your school environment. When it comes to finding your personal style and enjoying what you're wearing, I really recommend experimenting with different styles and even looking at influencers who have similar bodies as you in order to maybe gain some inspiration from them. This can give you a sense of what would look good on you, but be careful not to fall into the trap of comparing yourself with the influencer. Use the influencer as a resource to find what style makes you feel the most happy. And also, as you wear clothes, which I think most of us do on a day-to-day basis, tune into how you feel about what you're wearing. That's your self-awareness. Do you feel empowered or insecure? Do you feel smart or lethargic or happy or surprised or frustrated or angry or I don't know? How do the clothes you wear make you feel? Do you feel good or do you feel bad? Do you feel comfortable or do you feel uncomfortable? I definitely feel uncomfortable in polo shirts. This tuning into yourself and how clothes make you feel will not only help you build your dream wardrobe, but it'll also help you practice your self-awareness. Remember number 2 of the resilience mindset. You have a right to feel safe and comfortable in your work or school environment, regardless of your appearance. Your authentic self is your most beautiful self. Okay, short but necessary rant here. It's completely insane to see hairstyles banned from schools and workplaces. Banning Black and ethnic hairstyles and enforcing strict dress codes for girls and women at school and work, those are just forms of oppression, ways of policing people. It gives more power to the white supremacist patriarchy. So let me repeat, you have a right to feel safe and comfortable in your educational or workplace environment.